Hey everybody, welcome back to another recap of Jade and XD's YouTube extravaganza of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way, because it's about to be 3 episodes in one.
We're gonna put what happened in the last 3 episodes that we have been on break per couple. So that's how it will be organized.
Yeah. So let's dive into it, because we have a lot to get to. And for whatever reason, in the middle of the season, they dropped a whole new couple on us.
Did.
Let's start with them.
You want to start with the new ones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Starting with the names. Or names.
Oh yeah, Shekinah and Sarper, aka Miss Nikki Baby and Derek Zoolander.
Oh, Miss Nikki Baby. I just called her White Shekinah. I was like, that was not on my fucking bingo card.
Yeah, a White Shekinah.
Because she's white.
Who is also transracial. I want you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she is transracial.
Mm-hmm.
And by race, I mean Instagramian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's social media ease.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So White Shekinah is 41 and she lives in LA. Like most people in Los Angeles, she does not have a real job. She is a professional party girl. But we also learned that she's a licensed, that word I can't say.
Oh, I called her an event madam. And
no, but she's a licensed esthetician.
She's an esthetician, yeah.
Yes.
But she's an event madam. She brings attractive people to parties in LA.
Yeah, she's where Heidi was in On the Hills.
Yes.
Her and what was that hating bitch that she betrayed? Elodie.
Who?
Mm-hmm. Remember On the Hills where
there was a girl named Elodie?
Y'all listeners, y'all remember Heidi and Elodie became friends, but then Heidi took a promotion, like stole this promotion under Elodie, and Elodie had been there longer. And she was trying to help and support her for the job, and Heidi was like, nope, it's mine, and so that they ended up like beefing.
I think we need to watch The Hills. But like for Patreon, so sorry, YouTube, plug. But with our lens, because I don't know all these things. I know some things.
It's great watching it. It's great watching it through the lens of inwardium.
Let's do that. Let's add that as a thing.
Let's do it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she came to LA. Forgot to mention one very, very major important detail. She grew up Amish.
Yes, in Tennessee. In
Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Now, and it's not like her family was born Pennsylvania Dutch or Amish. They just was like, our homies are Amish.
They're like
they make great bread.
Amish. They're like
they make great bread and furniture. We should be Amish too. It seems like a peaceful way of life.
They're like, no electricity, no bills, sign me up. So
Liddy too titty. I don't have to pay taxes.
I didn't even think, because Amish is not a religion, right?
They're a protected people. It's a Amish, like Puritan people. They're like they're like Hasidic Jews, but like Christian.
Yes, they used to be called Old Order Amish. That sounds handmade-ish. Group of traditionalists, Anabaptist Christian Church fellowships with Swiss, German, and Alsatian origins.
The Puritans.
So they are technically it's not just a religion. They're a people.
They're like Orthodox Christians.
I thought you had to be born into being Amish. I wasn't aware of that.
I thought so too.
Until
I didn't know
now.
You could just
convert. I didn't know. I never knew that was a thing.
Yeah, me either.
Now she met Zoolander in Turkey, where he's from, on a dating app while she was there hanging out, visiting. They went on a date, and according to fuck, and then she went back 2.5 months later to spend a week specifically with him.
Yes, but what made her fall in love with him was on their very first date, and he decided to wear highlighter, like Fenty Beauty highlighter. Now before we meet him, we talk. She's at her home. I was a little confused because at first I thought she was at her gay's crib, but then we just learned that they're just European, and so it's true because Dan was like, "Oh, he's shit," and I was like, "Oh, he's French, not gay." So so. She's she's at her homeboy's crib. They're having a LA wind down situation. And she's like, hey guys, I'm moving to Turkey, Istanbul, what's tea? And Dan in a black turtleneck sweater is like,
in LA.
Yeah, in LA. No, you don't need to move. He's a horrible human being and he makes stupid decisions. And everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened there? Then we learn that Dan is his name, and that he automatically says, "Oh, I'm still in love with you," and it's like, girls. And my note says, "This is fake and forced. Stop playing with me, Sharp Entertainment," because nothing about him gave I'm interested in her or women, even if sexuality is fluid. Nothing, no inclination about that.
I won't touch that.
Oh, but I will drop in something just like she did. Her daughter's in boarding school.
Oh, because that was an asterisk for me. I was like, boarding school.
Yeah. Because again, like in LA, people don't have jobs. People also don't have the time to raise their children. So they put them in boarding school so that they can slive.
Yeah, because that's exactly what's happening here, actually. So next episode, she's meeting up with... Oh, no! Lest we forget in the last one.
When she told that she's about to be sold into white slavery. Yeah,
and that because he has told her that her weight needs to be 128 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't share this information. One of the friends, maybe it was French Dan, who had to share the information. And they were like, because she was like, no, I used to make bad decisions in men. And now, I'm healed and all of that. And they were like, this current nigga said that you have to be 128 pounds. And she was like, he's a personal trainer. That's my best suggested weight. And that's motherfucking crazy. So next episode, she's meeting up with her ex/baby daddy, Berto. Italian Berto.
Old Italian man Berto.
Mm-hmm. They are 27 years apart. It was her first real relationship post Amish life. At 23 years old, they were together 4 years. She got pregnant, and now their daughter is 15. He lives in Costa Rica because he opened a hotel down there for the past decade. Right. And the daughter's in boarding school. Papa owns a hotel in Costa Rica. Mama pimps bitches out at the club. It's fabulous.
There's nothing real about this. Is a very Los Angeles storyline.
Very much so. This could be on so many shows.
Yeah,
so many people. These could be the Hiltons. These could be so many people. So
it is. Real Housewives of pick whatever Southern California county.
It's clear, exactly. It's clear outside of Fresno. It's clear that they have a healthy-ish, co-parenting-ish, because I don't know if either would have been parent, but
healthy is a strong.
They like each other. They're
choice.
cool with one another. Is my point.
They don't hate each other.
That's where the issues were coming in, but they like each other. They are cool with each other. They have a respect for one another as the roles in each other's life.
Well,
so
yeah, you know.
She sits him down and tells him she's moving to Turkey for a nigga. And, you know, he feels like it's very fast. He brings up her past, as did her friends. So she clearly has horrible taste in human beings. But he brings up her past and how she has a very sketchy past with dating.
Yeah, and what pisses me off about that is like, nigga, you were part of her past too.
Oh, I was very well aware that he was included in this equation. I was like,
okay,
yeah.
I was like, I hope you're not absolving yourself,
no,
sir.
No. I don't know if he was absolving himself, but I wasn't absolving him. I was like, you were the catalyst actually for her terrible decisions.
For Osiris of her like complex and her having this idea of dating somebody who was her father.
Mm-hmm. So, because we got a glimpse of some of the issues in their past relationship, because when she tells him she's moving for a nigga and all this, that, and the third, she got the age-old, you're a mother!
Yeah.
And you need to be present and da-da-da. And you are, and you do. And you're a father. And you've been living your happy ass in Costa Rica for the last decade. So, I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. I'm saying y'all are lost in the neighborhood. Like,
yeah, both of y'all are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there was to put blame on anything
at all,
I'll say that.
And so, you know, he's like, you go for people for morals. They have no morals. They have no values. It's just looks. Now you going international. The stakes are higher. You know, you need to be there for our daughter. And she's like, skirt, nigga. She did call him out on it. She was like,
double standard.
And said the double standard. This is one example of why we didn't work out. So, yes, you are the Osiris of this shit, sir. And he doesn't support her decision, but he has a protection over her and will always be there for her, off of the strength that that's the mother of his child. And he looks very worried when they embrace. And yeah.
So, the next episode is dedicated to Derek Zoolander. I'm going to go through him very quickly. So he is modeling, honey. He is a model, okay? He is every model. Like, if you search Kufandi on Amazon, like, he is the type of model that is. Like, he was wearing Insta fashions, okay?
Insta fashions that also doubled as some sort of cosplay for like Street Fighter. It was
or like some intergalactic wartime.
It was like a new Ryu. Like it was like
like but he hasn't been modeling long. He randomly got discovered. Like many international people, they give you a vague background of who they are. He said he was an import and export. No one ever knows what that means. But every international nigga will tell you, oh, I'm in importing and exporting. What does that mean?
Importing and exporting what?
I've always wondered that, like, ever since watching TV from like the 80s.
I know, because
like,
I've been importing and exporting. What was it I was watching where they said that's what you tell the? Oh, it was Seinfeld. George was trying to, and I think it was Seinfeld. It was like, I'm an importing and exporting.
I'm telling people that from now on. What do you do for work? I'm in the
He probably
import-export
got that
business.
from that episode of Seinfeld.
Gotta be.
Now, what he really was a stripper.
Yes, he's a former stripper, and he stopped because his parents hated him.
Yeah.
But he found personal training, but didn't bodybuilding, but didn't take it seriously until like yesteryear.
Yeah.
Because he got his PT license 10 years ago and was like, meh.
Mm-hmm. He also discloses to us that he definitely used to fuck almost all of his clientele as a stripper. So like the brides for the bridal, what's the shit called? Bridesmaid party. What's the shit called?
Bridal party.
Bachelorette.
Bridesmaids.
He would fuck the brides if they was cute to him. And you know, Papa was a playboy. Matter of fact, their first date, they met, and they went out, and he didn't expect much, and then he fucked 2 women the day after that, before she called him to say, "Hey, I want to see you again." He's like, "I was so tired, I did not feel good, and I'd just been with 2 other women."
But you know, he's tired of his life, and he's ready to settle down. It seems like he's rather into her. I don't know how much, but enough. Where I'm like, oh, this is kind of genuine.
Oh, they're definitely a match made in Phyllis.
Yeah, match made in Bristolin. And so he's talking to his bestie Matt, his gym bro. And his bestie is like, no, you a hoe. I can't see yourself being, settling down. Yeah. We learned that, he's been with about 2,500 women, which is,
it's a number.
Depending upon who you ask, it could be a lot. Or, if you ask a gay man, it might be, we learned that he's only been faithful for the last 79 days. So that, and I'm assuming that's the last time they saw each other. Yeah. And he's really into it because he's never been, whipped this long on somebody. So. And
he's counting the days like prison because he's very horny. And his homeboy has no faith in him being faithful.
Yeah. And that was him.
Yeah.
Let's move on to, everybody else would be rather quick. Let's do Daniele and Yohan. Oh. Because this is actually kind of sad. Yohan is, I know Black Poppy, but also I know I don't do science. Because he just refuses to acknowledge the fact what doctors, people who have been studying this profession for decades, say about his wife.
No.
Quickly, they go back to the fertility doctor, and he realizes that it won't be their child together because they're seeking an egg donor. I guess he didn't put 2 and 2 together. He was like, so there's not going to be any type of Daniele and our child. And he was like, well, outside of the blood that they would share, no. And he makes a joke about it, but he is a little sad about it. Like, I want the mother of my child to have traits of their mother. So he's a little down about that, but we also learn it's a 65 to 70% success rate, and it's about $11,500 for the whole thing. Which is a lot of fucking money up front that they don't have, so they're gonna have to make some really, really tough decisions surrounding it.
Yeah.
But on the way home, something comes up which should have been brought up when they got married, was how they choose to raise children. And this was brought up a couple of episodes ago, if not last season, where she thinks that, he's really playful with his nieces and nephews. He has a bunch of them. And he's just like, Theo, Yohan, and everything is fun and all that. But it doesn't seem like he understands what it is to rear a child.
Responsibilities, The
responsibilities, so that's her concern. And so she brings that up to him, and he takes it as, you think I was raised by a fucking wild animal and you don't like...
And she doesn't say, no, you weren't. She just says, well, you know, the babies in your family's house be going to bed at like midnight. So...
Yeah. Yeah, it's like she didn't say those things, but she also didn't say otherwise. Exactly. Like, I understood what she was saying, right?
I did. I don't want to understand what she's saying, but yeah, I did.
Like, I was on her side. I'm like, but I also, there's been rare moments where it's been demonstrated, where it's been shown on camera that he's responsible, right? Like, a lot of it seems that Yohan is depicted like a kid.
Yeah.
And which is kind of,
I think also too, Yohan does not grasp the full picture of certain things, but she also infantilizes him and talks down to him. So I think it's a combo. And honestly, they just don't need to be together. I just will always stand by that. It's like they just don't need to be together. Like, the lifestyle you want to live, he's never going to make the money that you want him to make for the lifestyle that you want to live. You guys are very foundationally very different. Not saying that can't be successful in a relationship. But you all don't communicate well. Like, even in this, everything is defensive. It's a snapback. They don't communicate about their values properly. They just need to be done.
Yeah, they don't need to be together anymore.
Yeah.
And that was them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Armando y Kenny. Hot gay dads.
Oh, this was sad.
Yeah. So Kenny Skypes one of his kids, the needy one, from when they first were on. And you don't know she was needy. And we find out that she's pregnant again.
Yes.
You know, he's gonna be a grandpa again, and he's super elated and excited, of course, because what grandparent wouldn't?
And then he's sad.
And he's sad because he can't be there, but it's also definitely a realization for him. And he's been going through the motions back and forth, but this moment he actually verbalized what he needed to say. And he realized that he doesn't want to have another child because he's not sure that it's fair to the child because his life expectancy is, of course, anybody could die today or tomorrow, but the idea is that I just might not be around or be an effective parent at my age.
Yeah, and it's not fair to me. It's not fair to the kid. It's not fair to Armando ultimately. Like,
and so I was like, this storyline that's a real tough thing. Like, damn.
That's like real. That's like real problems.
Real problem. And it's like you can't help who you love, and it's also like this is something that comes with dating somebody or marrying somebody older.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also gays and their ideas of like building family is also weird to me, and maybe I need to work that out in therapy.
You might need to do that
because I have a lot of because in my head I'm like, well, logistically, because as gays we can pick and choose our family and we have that ability, right? And I'm like, when does sense and sensibility come in regards to that on Armando's side?
I feel hell that could be applied to some heteros as well, as far as like, I need you niggas to stop telling women you want them to have 4 and 5 babies for you, or telling people when you all meet at 35, like. I'm sorry I didn't meet you at 20. I cannot have 4 babies for you.
Yeah. Like what? No. So we get into some sad story, right? So they go on a family excursion to see some cultural stuff around Mexico.
Yes.
Very beautiful things. And so his mama goes on the trip, and every time their mama comes on, it's like, oh, here come the tears. Because anytime she comes on, there's emotion.
I tell you, she
it's like, do you exude happiness, Nana?
It's that emotional vampire from
the energy
shadows, the energy vampire.
Also, side note, because I watch Big Brother now and Ghost comes on before, it's such a cute show. I watch it now. I'm like, oh, this is so great.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Anywho, they talk about what happened at the clinic, and Kenny still doesn't say to Armando what we all want him to say, but we learn more about, because my note says, that's long-term storytelling, because we didn't know all of this until today. And mind you, we've been following them for the past, 3 or 4 years, and so we
Matt
learned...
Sharp and y'all held that.
Yeah, we knew that they connected on a Facebook group for gay dads.
For gay dads,
What we did not know is that the group was for, dads
grieving,
with lost...
grieving gay dads, yeah.
Right, so... We also know that Armando's ex-wife died in a car accident. We did not know that she was pregnant.
8 months.
8 months pregnant at that.
So they were fully prepared for the baby. They had stuff. Yeah. They had names. They had everything. 8 months is right there. And she and the baby passed away. And we also learned that Kenny lost twins. And so that was their coming together.
Yeah. Nothing really happened after that. We just got that information. And so there was tears, and next time we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Yeah, that was them. All right. Let's get Julio and Kirsten out the way.
Oh God.
Because they're ineffective story.
Yeah.
Definitely the reason why we got a new couple. And we all saw this coming. Right? So she's back home in the Netherlands, and they ain't really speaking like that, she tells us. But her and her homegirl go chat over some dairy products at this local cafe.
I just said they was meeting over sandwiches because they love some fucking sandwiches out there, I tell you.
Yeah, but also dairy, because it's just
dairy.
a lot of dairy in the Netherlands.
But it's crazy the way they love sandwiches. I told you I seen a young white couple. Yeah, but they don't be good. Young white couple leave the supermarket in Rotterdam with 4 full giant loaves of bread. And then when I was on the plane, they tried to give me one of them sandwiches. It was rye, and it had cheddar, and it had some sort of cream cheese situation. So you can love sandwiches if they're good.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
Anyway.
So she's telling her homegirl all what happened in New York.
It was very what?
Yeah, she was gagged. That's crazy. What? She was gagged. I was like, oh, she didn't know anything at all. This is a real friend.
Yeah.
And so, in the midst of all this, we learned that he reneged.
Yes, honey.
He is a renigger.
Yeah,
he told her that he needed more time, and she was like, oh, okay, 6 months work, and he was like, I'm not sure about that.
Can't quite put a time frame on it, so sorry.
And then she brings up a year, and he's like,
and the friend's like, you need to put some parameters around this time frame, okay? You need to give him a time frame. You need to figure out what's comfortable for you, and then you need to give that to him. But this little ellipses that he got going on is not gonna work. I cracked up when she was like, "Oh, guess what?" And he didn't even tell his family about it. They didn't even know about me. I was cracking up.
That's what old girl was like.
So now the renegger told his mom told him that he cannot leave because he is responsible for his younger brothers and the way that they turn out. Essentially, paraphrase, but that's like...
That is the most emotionally manipulative thing.
Well, first of all, I told you before, they have a unhealthy relationship, and also don't have children to take care of other children. That's not why you have children.
That's not.
Or
that's
to
not
take
the
care of
way to-
you. You don't have children to take care of you later on. They're not a retirement plan.
Oh, I just had that conversation with my mother. It's like, oh no, I'm not obligated in that regard. You're like, no.
Children are not a retirement plan.
No. And a baby won't make them stay. So don't, either way. So they get on Skype. And he can't leave because of his mama. And her eyes rolled so hard that it could power 3 windmills in her backyard. Because she realized at that moment that she was with a mammy's boy. And
a liar!
A weak one at that.
A weak liar.
Yeah. She would have had way more respect for him if he would just stand up on his principles and say, I don't want to move. And stop stringing her along. But he was like, no, my mommy said I can't go.
Yeah.
He also has like a nervous laugh and doesn't know how to handle this. So they're breaking up and she's like sobbing like it's the fucking end of 12 Years a Slave and they lost all their slaves and shit. And he's like, LOL, I don't know what to do. I guess we can hang up the phone now. And it's like, I understood him in that moment, but it's also like, what could he say? Do you want him to be sad too? Like, no, clearly he's not.
And I knew it was
probably would cry.
I knew it was nervous laughter and awkward smiling, like not happy smiling, just kind of like shocked and astonished, like, nigga, are you? Or like how a nigga smiles right before they about to fight, like it's like I know this nigga is like, you're not happy, but you're
no.
And I don't know if that's a cultural difference or I don't know, but she was very triggered by that and was like, not you laughing in my fucking face while I'm sobbing. And yeah, he's a dickhead, but he was like, we were living in a fantasy land, which you all were, and his controlling family brought him back to Earth.
Yeah, it was a fly-out story that dragged too far. He took
drag too far. And
yeah.
then that's the end of that. There's not really any accountability from him on how he contributed to this. No, like I was hiding a child or I know. It was none of that, but it was like, yeah, I guess this is although we've come. Like, it was that.
And that was them. Let us move on to TJ and Kimberly. Tejasvi, yeah. TJ and Kimberly. She's blaming it on Indian driving. I just don't think she can drive, period.
No. She clipped the tuk-tuk.
Yeah. So they go out driving and they get into a little accident. But it's a little fender bender, nothing major.
Just a little hit and run.
Yeah, but they're on their way to go meet the decorator. And, she's finally able to put her hand and stamp on things. And I did agree, the wedding chairs that they did pick out, the coverings, they were hot pink and ugly. And I was like, I'm so glad you stepped in and was like...
I didn't find them to be ugly. You know,
it just didn't match with
when I
what
be
it was
looking at Indian
going.
culture, it'd be like colorful and pretty, and I was like,
yeah, but it could be different.
Yeah.
Different shades. I was with her. So, you know, I don't know if you caught it, but she confirmed my point about white women and marriages and weddings. About how all white women want to get married in a forest, like pygmies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they think they're
and
fairies.
have like nests and shit in their fucking head. Yeah.
I think they're fairies. More like gremlins, but yes, they.
Yeah, it's always when they want to get
I want
married off.
Because when the bitch said, "I want twinkling lights and nothing but candles,"
she wants that when Ross got married to Emily on Friends, where it was just the rundown church on the outside, and they had twinkling lights that you put on your balcony.
But you want to start
backyard
forest
in
fires.
Bushwick.
You want to start forest fires with candles and shit in the forest. No, bitch. Just let these people sit on these satin cloths and let it rock.
Yes.
Now, he was very concerned about her very particular ways. There's nothing wrong to be particular or to have preferences. She is very particular, though. But the wedding coordinator seems to be on the same page. Like, he seems to get what she's like, all right, you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I feel like this is, so far it seems like things are going to go smooth. They get back to the crib. And he's like, listen, I think it's best that we all talk as a family so that we can clear the air. The wedding's in 4 days. Like, let's do this. She's like, you're right. This is a good idea. Baby, the family was ready to pounce. Mama got down there in her sweater and ripped jeans, and you would have thought she came down butt, booty, motherfucking ass naked.
Right, like she was jilling off in front of them.
Like, rubbing one out and pinching a nipple at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
they call her everything but a child of Vishnu. It was so fucking wild, bro. And I felt bad because she was like, I know these bitches are talking about
Oh,
me.
absolutely. The mother was speaking Hindi and then was like, don't touch me. You knew there was
Hindi. This white demon in Hindi.
Hindi. Oh, fail, Hindi. Like... And you already know, and Yash put the battery in his parents' back, but then his parents put the battery in Yash's back.
He said, ooh, I got mommy on my side.
And I was like, oh, I said, I see who the favorite is. I see. Oh,
and the youngest one, too.
Ooh, baby. Yash got them wrapped around the finger. So she's like, I'm not going to be living in a house like this willfully when I grew up in a house like this and I didn't have no control over my life. I'm out this bitch. I'm gone. And she goes up the stairs. And that is a very uncomfortable situation to be in. For an entire family to be fighting. You know you are the foundation of their fights. Not saying that she did anything wrong.
The cause.
But you are the cause of their fights. And then they talking shit about you in a language that you can't understand.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
It is. It's very funny. And they're all like, this is a disaster. This was the worst idea of the world. Like, it is chaos.
Like, damn, can I breathe?
No.
And so, you know, TJ is like ready to like fight.
What? Mom,
realizes
anybody can get it.
Right. And you can tell that Yash spun the story a lot. And I'm like, my note says, oh, they are beefing.
Yeah.
Capital.
They are. The girls are fighting.
Yes.
Sidebar. Sidebar.
Yeah. Exactly that. And so she's packing up her things and she's about to get in her Uber and leave. So we'll see what happens next week.
Ain't that some shit though? A bitch done dented your car and y'all paid thousands of dollars and she about to be out. And it's all your brother's fault. Fuck that.
Yeah. Listen. Okay.
Oh, South Africa, because I don't want to. Let's get them.
Yeah, they were next anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, Colonel Guile and
Cocktail.
The Corpse Bride.
Yeah. Yes, Tim Burton's presents.
Yeah, Tim Burton's presents. Yes. So remember, they're going house hunting. Because Mama said she wanted AC, walk-in closets.
Yeah.
And remember, he can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she, expressed last time we chatted that she needed more security. And he was like, bitch, I'm poor.
Yeah. Or I ain't got it like that. He ain't poor, I ain't got it like that.
I ain't got it like that. So they go on a house tour. They see a nice spot. They all struggle with math and conversions. I
said she is throwing math around like a food fight. Like, what are these numbers?
Said, this is 60,000 square feet. No, the fuck. It's 1,400 square feet.
Well, it must be bigger. It was actually not. And on top of that, the house that they were looking at, again, nice home, they were looking at was 2 million rand, which translates to 113,000 US American dollars. I can't imagine somebody moving here and telling me, we got to move. I want to go look at houses, and we're going to look at $100,000 house in New York sounds like a fucking dream, and I would make it work. But what I'm saying is, who the fuck just got that lying around, or a $20,000-$30,000 deposit and closing fees? Like,
white people are delusional because she thinks that she can, or what? Also, don't know what lies he's been spewing to her, right?
Well, we find out later.
So, she actually wants to move the price up to about 400K USD, and in the middle of this, they're arguing in front of the realtor,
who excuses himself,
like Cersei and Game of Thrones, like, ooh, nothing to do with me.
Nope.
And he tells her that I'm poor. Like, he's like, I don't have money.
Ain't got it like
I don't
that.
have it like that, so hush all that noise. And
hush that fuss.
The next episode, right? She's going to her mother, who is an ineffective chaperone. I still don't understand the point of it. I
forgot about her.
Suck each other's parts. Like, that's stupid. Y'all are almost 50. So, religion is anyway.
Now she keeps offering to work with him. Let me see your books. Let me see your finances. Let me see you this. Let me see you that. It's clear he's hiding something. It's like, let me see. You told me how much you made when we first got together. Da 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 da. Your ex-wife used to work with you. Like, how come I can't? First of all, bitch, I don't trust you to make dinner. Let alone you be over there. Like, I don't trust you to change the toilet paper
all of a
roll.
sudden, the grease pop, all of a sudden, she stopped dropping and rolling.
Yeah.
You never eat fucking dinner.
No.
And all she's making is hot dog and cheesy mac.
You over eating voila pasta and beefaroni. And like, no, I don't trust that bitch to heat me up Kraft mac and cheese, let alone to run the books for my business. So that was the one time I was on his side. I was like, absolutely the fuck not. But he does admit that he was like, listen, he told her before, I don't have the same amount of contracts I had before. Inflation is a thing. And so in order to try to make some sort of investment, I invested $40K in cryptocurrency.
Now, here I was back to this conundrum of having to defend white women. Because the next few sequences were like, what? And then, oh, you should, what the fuck?
You should have done like Key Rock on Love After Lockup, and invested in a damn laundromat. I can eat that.
Yeah. You invested in digital monopoly money that may or may not pay off. Like, I do know that it's paid off for some people, but that is for some
people, not for every people.
No.
And, you know, she's going off about all the sacrifices she's made and walks out and is done, you know, not done, but she's just like, I can't. And we get to the next episode and the bitch is running through the streets of South Africa barefoot.
Without shoes.
Meanwhile, he back at the office crying. And she running through South Africa barefoot.
He's legit boo-hooing. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
he felt like a dickhead.
And I'm like, I know I don't cry, but like, why are you crying?
Now, I screamed a scream because this lady told us. So he apparently had told her they can't go on a honeymoon, like at some point that we've not seen. She puts two and two together and is like, oh, we can't go on a honeymoon because of this shit here. She admits to production, to the camera, no, I know I'm not the sharpest person. Screamed. And then she sees him and this nigga leaves. He drives.
He packs up that Avalon.
But you was just bawling. And you were talking about how unsafe South Africa is. And you
left your betrothed out to rot in the sun of South Africa.
I guess he came back though, because
yeah, he had to pick her up.
He had to pick her up. They went back to the office. They talked. He's stressed. She's cuddling against him like a cat, and you know, tells us and him, I told you when we were dating I was not going to be with somebody who was financially struggling. Now, there's a difference between financially struggling and not being able to buy a $100,000 to $400,000 home because you said you want one.
At the drop of a hat. It don't work like that, mama.
It don't. But that was them.
All right. Michael Cera and
Harry Potter.
Emotional
Mary.
Grenade.
Proud Mary.
Yeah, she is an emotional A-bomb.
Vivian Green. Remember, she was feeling a little nervous, you know, with them finally being in person. And also, he found out she was lying about hanging out with her friends. But they got past all that. She's starting to feel more comfortable, more relaxed. And now she's going to take him on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
First stop is church.
Yes, they had to get some Jesus.
Yes, and whatever, some Catholic stuff. So, she said he does not have to convert, but he does have to go to church if he's going to marry her. So, they go to the Catholic church to Mass, and they sit in the pews waiting for the service to start. And she tells him no less than 732 times that he should not look at girls while he is there. And if he is not looking at the priest, he needs to be looking at her.
Yeah. The crazy part is, I know so many women or stories of women who have told that to their husbands.
That's humans. Where abused humans, whether it be emotional or otherwise, form this like straight ahead complex because it's going to cause a kerfuffle with the insecure other person in the relationship. I think it can go across genders. I think it can go across sexualities. I think it can go across everything. Like, there are insecure human beings in this world who project their insecurity onto their partners, and then their partners are then being emotionally abused and don't feel like they can have normal interaction with other human beings. Very unhealthy. So
big time unhealth.
it is, and it's emotional abuse. It's gaslighting. It's all types of things. It's like, what if the clerk is a lady? And that's how people start looking down at their shoes and all kinds of other dumb shit. So he's very emotional about this. He's like, I can't live my life like this. This is crazy. Like,
it's unhealthy. So he sits her down and is like, look, you have to trust me. Like, I have made it very clear. We are here together. I'm here for you, nobody else. I give up my whole life for you, so you need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just want the freedom to talk to anyone. And her response was, and I quote, well, then find someone else.
And I had to keep in mind and continuously remind myself that they are
12.
23 years old.
And so she's having an asthma attack, crying and shit, and production has to get involved. But
all because he told her that he can't be controlled in that way. That was unhealthy.
And he was over it, but he came back and he stood up for himself. He was like, this crying shit is not gonna move me. He was like, I still feel like this, and it's not gonna change anything.
He was essentially begging her to trust him, and she is sobbing, breaking down, crying, and throwing up because he is begging her to trust him so that they can live a healthy relationship.
Right. Makes no sense. So, I guess they make up or whatever, and then she takes him to the high school that she attended. And they go on the tour, and eventually she tells him that she's willing to try to trust him. She's trusting a try, like Janet told us. So the next day, she takes him to the old house that remember the typhoon got to it not too long before they started building this new one. And he decides to finally tell her that he only has $306 left his name. And so what is we gonna do for money? She says she can make necklaces and sell them on Etsy or whatever the fuck. And he was like,
that's cool, but the farming that your grandfather does, any way he can contribute a little bit to help?
Right. And she's like, no, and she's adamant about it and emotional about it. Like, she doesn't want him to sacrifice and doesn't want to make it known that they have troubles in paradise and things like that. And he's kind of like, he's over her, actually. And they both talk about they both have an obscure view of what each other's struggles were like. Because
it's just, it's culturally different. It's different circumstances of struggle. American struggle is different than some other international struggle, but also people struggle in their own ways. He tells her he was on the verge of suicide and all sorts of things when he met her, living in a car, figuring out what he was going to do with himself. And she was like, yeah, you don't get it, because struggle here is y'all have government assistance, which was low-key a point.
True.
She's like, y'all have government assistance and can at least get some food. Here, if people ain't got it, they ain't got it. They don't eat. They take shits in the river. Like, a struggle is a real fucking struggle here. And I don't think that means that he didn't struggle. I was like, you all are, this is just a difference of cultures and circumstances and things like that. But that is something to take in mind. You know what I'm saying? It's something for us to keep in mind. is that
Yeah.
there are people who don't even have any resources whatsoever.
I'm gonna say that it's all relative, you know, because there are people in America who do the exact same things that she described.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
and can't get government assistance because they don't have their own paperwork, or they don't have this, that, or the third. Like, everybody doesn't have the access or the resources to have the access. So I do agree with you there. It is all relative.
Yeah, but wow, that's them.
Yeah, she don't want to ask the grandparents, and he's like,
I get
well,
it, but because here's my thing, right? Here we are again with this idea of he gave all this money to build this house.
Every dollar.
So this is his crib. I don't want to say what I want to say.
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Y'all know.
All right, well, this has been another episode of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way. We will see you all next week.
Yes, bye, y'all.